Hi there, this is yours truly Clarissa Talaga, and this recording of how I'll be able to present myself to the people that I am going to speak with, for the viewers who will be watching the succeeding broadcast in whatever capacity that I will be formally be known for, diba? So, ngayon po, bahagi po ito ng pagpapakilala upang sa ganoon, magkaroon po ng ma-address yung mga kalituhan na hanggang ngayon ay nananatili sa aking pakikipag-usap sa iba't ibang tao, nananatili pong may question mark. So, as soon as I realized that there are deep-rooted complications in my name and identity, I resisted all urges and temptations to file for another loan, another credit, or even ask favors from people who will be sucked into the conflicted zone. Hello, this is yours truly, Clarice, and today is the first day of October 2019. It's a Tuesday. So, kaysa po dumami ng dumami ang mga characters, at kung papaano pagtatagni-tagniin ang connection namin sa isa't isa, minabuti ko po na putulin na dun sa point na ako ay inuusig, pinupuntahan, pinapaalalahanan, pinapagalitan. Nagkakaroon po kami ng family conferences because of this. Yun, tinatanggap ko po yung mga sinasabi. At upang sa ganon, hindi na ako mandamay pa ng ibang tao or gumawa ng mga hakbang kung saan mas lalaki pa, mas dadami yung tatanungin, at mas gugulo po yung yung narrative. Any venture or filler I said now is a direct communication coming from one big entanglement and will not be fielded in the ecosystem as a voice from the wilderness. So, may kakalagyan na. It's the reason why even during the days of the heaviest onslaught of pressure, I had to take in the words and actions without deflecting it to another person or persons. So, like, faults, diba? Kasi kasalanan niya, itong mga tao na to, lahat sila, ganun. You know, those times, like, no, August, September, hindi yon yung panahon na, I will be naming names, I will be raising allegations here and there, kasi lalo pong gugulo. It was sufficient that, the party to blame was Clarissa Talaga, and the business to take the cudgel, na may kasong hinaharap is TIBC, Talaga Information and Business Consultancy. So, lahat po nasa table ko, lahat po nasa person ko. Ako po yung merong personal liability and common link sa lahat. So, sa akin po, at nung time na yon, sa akin po nagkaroon ng kumbaga the bucket, lahat po nag-end on my table. The application form, kasi po, it's the reason why ngayon nagkaroon po ng pagkakataon para ako rin po mismo yung humarap, kasi since sa akin natapos. The application form, the job order, the new friendship, or any workplace for that matter, any legal paper I signed with my name on it, it's not going to be viewed in the sports arena or competitive sports or even courtship and flirtations, boy, girl, meet next door, dating, yung mga ganang klase. Ang nangyari po, the actions that had been taken sa akin, kinakailangan ko po munang harapin talaga. In my person, in my capacity, that's why I took time out to put myself out of the equation, so that madidistinguish kung alin yung bahagi ako or alin yung part, my culpability. Who is entitled to the credits, the salary deductions from GSIS membership when it's not me, and yet I was being deducted in my salary while I was my father's staff doon po sa Kapitolyo, sa Sangguniang Panlalawigan ng Quezon. If I cannot claim it, apply in my capacity as the Clarissa Garcia to make a claim, to the eligibility, no matter how minor and so minimal the conversion into the peso rate. What headway and move forward are we talking about? When the system cannot recognize me and instead had another name in place of where I should be, siguro nga po talaga, benefit of the doubt, merong Clarissa Garcia, pero ako po yung nawala. So, dapat po, sa system, dapat at least man lang dalawa talaga para alin yung sa kanya, alin yung sa akin. But since nawala ako, una po, nagkaroon ako ng suspicion, probably that was me being referred to. So, dahil wala po ako dun eh. So hinanap ko yung track record ko. So, kumbaga, rise to my let the chips fall where they may. Hindi ko naman po sinasabi na perfect yung record ko. Meron lang pag-anuhan. Meron lang pagsimulan. I am not proud of, my record then, but it's mine. And I may stand or fall with it. Maitama lang, magkaroon lang ng point ng pagsisimulan. In the same way, I can't readily change my double entry in SSS, Social Security System. I think this is fairly universal, the concept of having insurance system for the workers in the private sector. So, even though it's absurd because I was both an employer and employee at the same time, it means there were days, weeks in the past years that I was supposed to be signing payroll and issuing ORs in order for two separate and mutually exclusive internal forms of SSS to be entered into their database at the same time. So parang dalawa yung binabayaran ko. Parang ako yung dapat mag-reflect din yun sa sa PIN kasi magkaka-connected siya. In the same way that as an employer na may liability na dapat bayaran para sa aking employee, while at the same time, ako yung binabayaran ng employer as the employee, parang ang gulo-gulo. So there was really a need to go back. And I will be signing job order or apartment or even making public any relationship issues. Parang the sum total will not be, it will not give the result that can be credible or that can be traced from the addends, diba? So, if 1 plus 1 equals 2, the 1 plus 1, the 2 there, anong 2 yun? Anong 1? Anong 1? Anong 1 plus 1? Di ba? Hindi alam kung anong addends kasi unidentified. Ang gulo-gulo na record. Now, this comes the heavy part and the implication of that. Trafficking in person is not like a basketball tournament season or any competitive sports for that matter. The arena is different. Trafficking in person has a unique feature because people are mobile, crossing multi-boundary with its set of rules and laws. And through the actions done and words said, the question on who they can be attributed to and how will they be evaluated, that's what makes it universal in nature. Can you imagine me directly being talked with by tourists, by foreign nationals? Who are they speaking with? Actually, di ko ba, one sovereign country has one set of identification for me, and another sovereign country has another set of identification for me. It doesn't mean that even though I'm physically here, I'm a Filipino citizen, I have no connections and ties with other organizations, with other people from abroad. So, it would have made matter worse kung I have dealings with foreign nationals and we don't know where each other stands. Will they be committing treason if, for example, a statement of fact nadulas, slip of the tongue, and it's not a public knowledge or unclassified. Parang here in the Philippines, we're still treating some matter of fact as classified information. And may nadulas na tourists. And I was in the hearing and it became something like, naman, bakit sabi ni Monsieur, this and that, they have known me even back then. So can you imagine the quadrille? Ang dami-dami na naman na i-untangle ng ating regulators, ng ating law enforcement, ng iba-ibang departments ng government natin, diba? So, I had, for me, I still believe that I made the right call, I made the right choice in taking myself out of the equation in order to focus on how I will be able to introduce myself. Trafficking in person touches on how one sovereign country can treat a person whose status and identification can be different from the country of origin or even from another sovereign country. So what documentation and what identification process or determination process will one sovereign country follow out of its set of rules and laws distinctive from how another country is already conducting it? Their due process can include looking over the genesis of the disparity, which may or may not consider the endorsement or official response from another country. They may start from ground zero. They may start from the basic. Especially that the determination process cannot exist without the supporting documents. So, how can one recommendation be bereft of the basis and still be credible? So, I have started in DFA, the Department of Foreign Affairs. The vetted information there, the official information there, should be coordinated with all the departments in order to for our, the set of records coming from our country still maintain the credibility, the authenticity na pag nakita yung seal ng Philippines, that's okay. That country has a good way of handling records. They can be trusted to issue, at face value, correct information coming from their country. We are interconnected. That's why in my previous broadcast, I said, we are in this together. Especially that the determination process cannot exist without the supporting documents. How can one recommendation be bereft of the basis and still be credible? And in the supporting documents, may I just say with emphasis on clarity and supporting papers that my direct, indirect connection to foreign entities, different foreign entities, non-Filipino entities, predates 2003 or 2004. So I was already having exposure, I was already enjoying the technology. I was already through the internet. I was already corresponding and meeting different nationalities, care of the church, because of my work, because of my research. because I would present myself in different offices in Metro Manila, and the product of the research that I did, they came from the available materials produced by other entities. So my name had already been forwarded, and it was just a matter of time talaga before the footprints become official. So it is not that there will be different objective and result, which to others is merely an exposure as trivial. It's, you know, for some people who might want, I said might, want to be part of the gulo, it could be just be an exposure as trivial as watching a long-running reality show online and be on it, you know, for personal gains. Like, I need to be on the public awareness for this season, probably because it's election, or probably, you know, for something else, because I have a crusade, I have a cause that needs to be communicated, and so I can be a vehicle unknowingly. Parang yun sa ano, the Jim, what's that? The Truman Show. But what's the degree of disparity? The interpretation of mercy and compassion may have different dynamics, for example. So please, this is a sobering reminder that as it has a beginning, it has an end also. And the interpretation of mercy and compassion may have different dynamics, culturally, geographically, dependent on the mindset and procedures, religion, and faith. What did the source, you know, for every amount of money that comes my way or that had been invoked because of my name, the involvement, hence the confusion. Kung ito man po yung source ng confusion, the unavoidable question still, what did the source intend for any money or assistance to be used in the first place, and how is it now being regarded as from the original intent or purpose? How is it being regarded now? The source. Our liberal interpretation of mercy and compassion can be a gross act of cover-up or corruption to another culture and political system. And I'm not the first. This was what happened during the era of slavery. In different forms, it is being updated in keeping with the realities of the present times, like in trafficking of illegal drugs, of women like prostitution, child brides, mail-to-order brides, shotgun marriage, children. That's why DSWD and other equivalent agency are so careful about the adoption. It's universal. And we already have some rough spots to iron out with the international body like UN. And then there's the extradition. It's a crime not contained or isolated to one region or country or citizenship. The process of enlisting support that runs contrary or arbitrary to the norms and invoking completely inapplicable dynamics is bound to meet the end of the road. Diba? Parang, how will one branch or department of government ignore forever the identification coming from international organizations like Global Christian Fellowship, the different denominations of the faith, as well as publication, as well as the music industry that have ties here in the Philippines? They have local counterpart. Buying for time at what cost and at whose expense? Because at this point in time, there are corresponding jail time and prison terms. Real-time live broadcast is not due process, but it can be a window to what's going on. these are sobering thoughts because they are based on reality. Diba? We watch on TV, you know, the hearings, we watch the news, the police beat. There are a lot of things that, you know, somehow they are so separate from us. They cannot happen to us. Di ba parang gano'n? These things happen to other people but not to me. These things can happen to someone I know, but it cannot touch me. It's these kind of notions can be, it will not help any of us. If it can happen to one person, you know, at the risk of being paranoid about it, we can just take precautions and do what's necessary, you know, due diligence, so that our responsibility first and foremost to ourselves, they cannot be an added burden to a loved one, to a family, to an agency. Diba? If we are responsible for ourselves, then we are not being a burden to another, to, you know, to a loved one. And I talked from the onset, I have said, I have referred to it as the onslaught of pressure, because I am not saying that there are intentional pressures to undermine me. I am just saying that the effect on me when all these things have came down on me here at home, on my mobile phone, through my family, the, you know, the total weight, the pressure, you know, the mounting pressure as each of these problem had been added to another. Talaga, buti na lang, ano, I was already a breadwinner at age 19, or else, grabe, I would not have borne it with proper disposition, and my faith plays a big role in it also. So I want to introduce myself as the person in terms of details. Like, ako po yung tinawagan ng Pondo Peso online, yung Paynamics. Yung family ko po yung isa-isang tinawagan, sapagkat hindi po ako makabayar at that time, nakatali yung kamay ko. And yung mga supposed to be sponsors namin and advertisers, they have declined, and at the last minute also. So, my friend, may kababata, told me that everything was in order, so we went ahead with the second event. And as it turned out, hindi ganon yung nangyari. That's why I was caught in the middle of a decision whether to go on with it or to cut my losses. So the next